Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to begin by giving all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Recha Kodash. Double honors to the elders and to the apostle of Great Millstone, and enough respect to the brothers that they're pushing and spreading the gospel of Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai to the four corners of the world. Now, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai, I just want to do a quick lesson, and on focusing on a very nice paper, which is entitled "The Modern Day Rome: The Correlation Between the Roman Republic and the United States of America." And the last time I did a video, I focused on just one point that the paper made, which is that America copied Rome's system of not centralizing its power in just one person, right? Like creating a king or even a theocracy, right? But instead, they created checks and balances to spread the power around to make sure that no one man holds all the power. This is something that America copied from Rome, and so it set up a republic like Rome did, right, and a democracy. So that was the first point. The second point, which I'm just going to go right into, it says another way in which Roman ideology infiltrated the American attitude concerns the concept of embracing various cultures to allow for the growth and expansion of ideas, which led to an increase in unity. Just as Rome did not produce any new culture or identity, but brought together many cultures to form an identity, America followed in kind. America picked up the best memoirs of each culture and brings them together to form its identity, right? This illustrates one of the many reasons why America received the name the melting pot of the world. In addition to Roman ideology, Roman symbolism pervades, In addition to Roman ideology, Roman symbolism pervaded its way into the American society. This integration occurred in many different ways, ranging from words to currency. The symbol of America, the great eagle, was also an ancient symbol of the power and strength of Rome. All 13 original states' seals included Roman imagery and or Latin inscriptions. Specifically, the seal of Virginia and Georgia are from Virgil's first eclogue, right? Dos nubis Hayek, I ain't even gonna try to read that. Otia facit, which means God has made this tranquility for us. Hey, the Most High has deceived them and placed them in slippery places. That's how you know that these devils have no clue. The scripture says that they did not consider the latter end. They established their world right first by, trying to kill off all the northern tribe, and then when they had secured land for themselves, they brought Judah over and they made Judah, Levi, and Benjamin slaves. Okay, and when they are on top of us, they say that the Most High has given them tranquility for us. Well, yeah, the Most High is giving tranquility, but He didn't do it for your benefit. He did it so that you can fall, so that you can be worthy of the destruction that comes in the latter days. He's preserving you. The scripture talks about the Lord preserve the wicked, for judgment. But because they can't discern spiritually, they think that the Most High has blessed them. But while you may have the blessing of getting the fatness of the earth by the sword, well, Yahushai, the one who gave you the blessing as Isaac, also came back and said, "He that liveth by the sword shall die by the sword." So, you were cursed. But let's continue. It says, even the great seal of the United States, which is supposed to set apart the nation as unique, is drenched in Roman imagery. The olive branch is the Roman symbol for peace. The eagle, already mentioned above, carried a scroll with the Latin inscription, right, which means out of many, one. Let's look at this, the Great Seal of the United States. Open image in new tab. All right, so this is this. Let's see. The Gracie of the United States. The eagle carried a scroll with a Latin inscription. So the eagle carrying a scroll with this Latin inscription, which means out of many, one. America is a melting pot. All right. It says fascism and Stasism. I'm trying to highlight this. All right. Serve as two examples of American words tracing their origin back to the Roman concepts. The word fascism comes from the Roman word fasces, facets, and facets are wooden rods tied together with colorful bands which symbolize control under one government. All right. Let's get into that. I'm trying to find a word for it. Wooden rods tied together with colorful bands. All right, so let's try that. Let's try to see if we can find one that is not an axe. Or maybe that's what it is. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's always an axe. But these are all woods, like a bunch of wood that's tied together by a band, a cord or rope. Yeah, so all these images are the same. All right, brothers, get it now. Which symbolizes control under one government. The axe and facets made the people aware of what could happen if one did not adhere to the power at hand. So it's supposed to have an axe on it. The idea that there existed no higher law than the government's law arose from the Romans' implementation of the concept of statism. The Constitution, and let's look up this word. Hopefully I'm pronouncing it right. Yep, statism. A political system in which the state has substantial centralized control over social and economic affairs. The rise of authoritarian statism. That makes sense. Says the Constitution of the United States echoes this belief by claiming the Constitution to be the supreme law of the land. Additionally, the reverence of the law shows statism in actions throughout the United States. Many American coins carry Roman sayings or symbols. Hey, Rome beliefs also greatly inspired early American currency as well. The first federal currency bill in America depicted the Roman goddess Justitia carrying her scales and sword. Showed the Roman god. Let's look up. Let me just so it doesn't show anybody. Right. Okay. So this is what we're looking at. The first federal currency in America depicted this image that we're seeing here. All right. Carrying her scales and sword showed. The Roman goddess Libertas, also pictured on early currency, wore her cap and rod. The Roman phrase, meaning thou shalt flourish in a republic, right? Let's look at the Roman goddess Libertas. All right, yeah. the Statue of Liberty. All right. The Roman phrase, right, meaning thou shalt flourish in the republic, served as a reminder of Roman influence on American thought. Early Americans' coin had the head of a Roman depicted on one side because the early founders did not wish to have the King of England on their coins. Also written on these early coins, the Roman inscription non uh, vici, meaning I triumph by virtue, not force. On American dollar bills today, one can also see the reflection of Rome. Aside from the unfinished pyramid, nearly every phrase lends itself to an investigation of Roman concept. Let's look at the dollar bill today. All right. Near unfinished. Oh man. See if I can find it. This image is not very sharp, but one can. I think maybe you need to do it in person. You can see the reflection of Rome. I don't know what they mean by that, but yeah, I don't know what they mean by that, but I'm gonna try to. See the land, but I don't know. Let's get back to it. Aside from the unfinished pyramid, nearly every phrase lends itself to an investigation of Roman concept. The word over the pyramid, key approves of the undertaking, are from Virgil's Aeneid. The words under the pyramid, this word meaning a new order of ages, also from Virgil's fourth Eclogue, highlight the importance of America placed on incorporating Rome into their country. At a time when the founding fathers could have written anything on their nation's currency, they chose to intentionally link the United States with one of the greatest republics of the ancient world, which shows you, man, that the Lord is in control. Hey, the scripture says that, you know, that when the Lord controls a man's heart, roughly paraphrasing, okay, whether if it's deep sleep falls upon him, okay, the scripture says that like the king's heart is in the hands of the Lord, and like the river, he turns it wherever he wants. And these are the founding fathers of a nation. They will be like, instead of kings, they are prominent men amongst their nation. Okay? Scripture says that a man can have many plans, but ultimately his decision is up to the Lord. And for the sake of prophecy, the Lord had to make sure that America, to make it apparent, you know, to the prophets that America is Rome, and for us to not have any doubt whatsoever in expecting Yahweh Shai to appear at America at a time when America is what it's at its highest. That's why it's important to push prophecy. and to push the coming of Yahweh Shai, push this truth. The mindset of the Roman people functioned as another important aspect of everyday life within the Roman Republic. This attitude remained wary, yet accepting at the same time. The Romans stayed cautious of a concentrated power due to its validity. They endured much violence, and this can be most clearly shown through the struggle for power. Because of this, the Romans were apprehensive of those who sought to claim all of the power for themselves. The people needed to know that their leaders sought to protect and provide for them. Conversely, they were very accepting of new cultures and ideas. The people living under Roman rule believed that embracing new cultures rather than expelling them would help to create unity among the people. This basically related to those nations who found themselves under Roman control. While there were certain Roman exploitation of these nations, such as taxes and enrollment in the Roman army, for the most part, the government allowed the nation to operate on their own, right? That's why you had the high priest in there, even when Yahushai even during Yahushua's time when Israel was underneath the Roman Empire. They would listen to the high priest. They would follow the laws of the high priest. The Sanhedrin says the Romans would incorporate the best from each of its conquered lands into the Roman identity. The integration of the Greek religion into Roman life served as an example of this fusion of beliefs and practices. In addition to the attitude of the people, the humble beginnings of the Roman people tended to be overlooked. Family served as the central source of influence over the children. This unit provided the opportunity to inundate the children with exposure to several key factors, including education, the religious beliefs, the values, and the sense of honor that would remain with the children their entire lives. The earliest Romans specifically relied on this sense of family and dependence upon one another. And one of the common professions for these early Roman citizens were farming. And while humble in origins, these Romans developed into strong men and women who understood hard work and honor. Cato, the elder, reflected on this very concept when he said, "It is from the farmers that the bravest men and sturdiest soldiers come. Their calling is most highly respected. Their livelihood is most assured." This showed not only the physical strength of the farmers, but the respect that they were given as well. And the life of Lucius Quintus Cincinnatus, also known as Cincinnatus, represented an example of quintessential early Roman citizen. In 1458 BC, when Rome needed a leader, Cincinnatus rose to the occasion and led the Roman people back to stability. The power of dictator was bestowed upon him, with which to accomplish the very task of stabilizing the republic. And when we think of the word dictator, we think of like a ruler over a nation, but this is a title that Rome would give to their generals, right? Or the person who would lead a war campaign. They would give that power to him, to make sure that Rome has a single mind and a single focus, and they can do things without delay. They can act. And they usually do these things because oftentimes they will have like consuls, multiple consuls, who would have like armies at their command, and they can operate how they want to, right? And so a dictator will sometimes be like, yo, let's just have one person who's making all decision so that we're not divided, and we could just, make decisions immediately, okay? I'm going to skip this. Okay, yeah, so this is the point here. It says, like the Romans, The early Americans, both commoners and elite alike, also felt a strong sense of honor and duty. The founding fathers risked everything they owned, including their life, for the sake of their country. Many of the early Americans shared a bond with the Romans in that they were also farmers who understood the value of hard work and determination. The family, like the Romans, functioned as a team to accomplish the needed goals. Additionally, these men were not just farmers, but they, when needed, became the Minutemen of militia for the Continental Army during the Revolutionary War. All right, so to look at them praising this man. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna skip all this, right? They wanna prop up their citizens and their fucking leaders. We know they're wicked, so I'm not even gonna try to read all this. And so we're gonna go to the similarities between America and Rome on education. I'm gonna save that for next video. I don't want to make this too long. So until next time, I want to end it right here by giving all praise and glory unto Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Racha Kodash, and Lord willing, this was edifying. Shalom.